And welcome back. This is part 2 of setting up your final project for CPMT-2349 with Dr. Michael Chambers. All right, the installation has finished and completed, so we're going to move forward. Right here at this point, we're going to create a password for your administrator. We can get in the right window. All right. There may be some delay. Let's start that over. Looks like I'm getting quite a bit of lag today. You may get this on your machine as well, and that's perfectly fine. It just means that you just have a lot of stuff going on at one time, and then you are a working individual, so it's expected to you have some stuff going on in the background. All right, so just waiting for that to catch up. We'll go to the next line. Wait for that to catch up. And it looks like it's done. So we'll click finish. Let it finalize settings. And while it does that, I'm going to close out some stuff in the background that may be inhibiting our progress here. So bear with me just a second. All right. Now we are to logging in for the first time. So when you set up Oracle VirtualBox, it comes with what is called a host key. The host key is the right control button on your keyboard. And if you press that, it will be equivalent to Control-Alt-Delete, but you have to press the delete button first. So I'm going to click in this window here, hold the control button down, press delete. That will take me to the login screen. Eventually, type in the password that I just put in and let it log in. Now it's going to set up all of the profiles and everything just like you normally would for the first time logging into a Windows operating system. It goes through setting up the personalization, loads all the services, and gets everything up and running for you. And that part is where it may take a minute or so to load since this is the first time we've logged into it. All right, do you want to, when you see this notification, at this point, I would say no, because you don't want, if say you had a virus on your computer that may inhibit your progress on your server. So yeah, and vice versa too. So you want to make sure that you turn discoverable mode off for now, and then we'll move forward. So just go ahead and check the box. Don't see this message again. All right, so now you are at the Server Manager dashboard. Now, as you can see, it looks like there's a service down here that's having a little bit of problems. So let's take a look and see what it is. All right, so you'll see on this that you'll have the Maps Broker, download Maps Manager. Don't worry about that. Oftentimes, you just want to leave it alone because you're not going to do anything with the maps, but we'll go ahead and start the service by right-clicking it and go to Start Service. And if that error comes up again, we'll just ignore the error and move on. You'll find that this notification area, there's a little flag up here, will give you everything you need to let you know everything's going okay, if it's going bad. But you'll also be able to see it update down here where it says local server. It'll turn from red like this with a big red mark to where I have a green line. See, looks like everything is working hunky-dory now. So we're going to move on. All right, at this point, we're going to install all of the actual services and roles and features that we're going to be doing for your final project. Now, I'm going to go a little slow on this one. because there are some added features that are not discussed in class that we may miss. So I want to make sure I capture everything in this video for you. So we're going to go to Manage, Add Roles or Features. You got a bunch of good stuff to say, hey, this is the wizard. Okay, role-based or feature-based installation. Then next. It's going to select from the server pool. This is your only server that you have right now. All right, now we got the server roles. We're going to be digging into a lot of things in our class. So I'm going to start from the very top. We're going to do Active Directory domain services. When you get this little pop-up, leave everything alone, say add features. I'm going to do DHCP, add features. If you get this little validation error or message, just go ahead and click continue. Next, you're going to click on DNS server, add features. And another validation message, continue. All right. The bulk of what we're going to be doing a lot of here in this file and storage services area has to relate to creating a file storage space, like a shared file or shared folder. So we're going to be clicking quite a few things in here. So you click the little arrow next to it, click the next little arrow, and then you do file server, DFS namespaces. Add these features, yes, add features. DFS replication. Go ahead and add these as well. File server resource manager, add features. Server for NFS, add features. And we'll move on. All right. Now, one of the other things that we're going to be working on is Hyper-V in class. We'll be discussing this a lot. Hyper-V is just a Windows operating system, a virtualization system that's going to allow you to build virtual machines. Since we are using Oracle VirtualBox to build this machine, we're not going to go that far deep into this. So do not install Hyper-V. All right. We'll do network policy and access services, print and document services, add features, remote access, remote desktop services, and Windows IIS, server IIS, web server IIS, add features, Windows deployment services, add features. And then last but not least, the Windows Server Update Services. This has quite a few things that it's going to install from other features and items from the rest of the groups that you have up here. All right, on this next one, when we click next, there's going to be a couple more that we're going to be getting through. So just a quick recap: Active Directory Domain Services, DHCP, DNS. Then we're going to click the arrows, go to File Server, DFS namespaces, DFS replication, File Server Resource Manager, Server for NFS, then move down further, Network Policy and Access Services, Print and Document Services, Remote Access, Remote Desktop Services, Web Server, IIS, Windows Deployment Services, and lastly, Windows Server Update Services. You can click Next. All right, so on this one, I'm going to go through it a little slower because there are a couple things that we got to make sure we do while we're working on our projects. So bear with me just a moment. We're not going to do BitLocker. Group policy management, make sure that is selected. Some of these features should have already been done when you were selecting the other ones. So a lot of them, most likely it's already been selected for us. One that is not is this one right here, Windows Server Backup. So we'll select that one in the features and then move forward. All right. So that's the only one we had to select, Windows Server Backup under the features. Click Next. This is talking about Azure Active Directory and domain services and how to configure it with Office 365. So we just click Next, 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 Next. Very, very repetitive. And then Next, Next. We'll go ahead and select a couple of these items. So that first one, the RAS Connection Management Kit, go ahead and add those features as well, because we'll get into that in week 5 for that discussion topic. So it's good to have that available for you when we go through that process. All right, after that, click Next. Click Next again. We're going to do the gateway, licensing, add features, session host, add features, virtualization host. We won't need, obviously, because it says Hyper-V. So we'll click Cancel. And then lastly, the remote desktop web services, which is going to be part of the web application inside of IIS. So it's going to add those features for us in that purview. Once all those are selected, we'll click Next. Next. We're getting there. Go down here. This is just a rehash of everything that's automatically put together. Next. 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 We're going to deselect store updates in the following location and then click Next. At this point, we're ready to go ahead and install. Now, it's recommended, since this is when we were installing the services, we'll go ahead and select this option up here. If a restart is required, this server will restart automatically. Do you want to allow this? And we're going to say yes. And then after that, click Install. Now, here's another part where this is going to be a installation process. It's going to take upwards between 5 to 15 minutes, depending on the speed of your server or your actual host machine that you're running on. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to stop the video here, and we'll come back to it and go to our next step, which is, excuse me, the configuration of each different type of services over the course of the next few weeks. So without further ado, at this point, if you are in the CPMT class, once this is done and completed, you are capable of actually creating a screenshot. So we're going to use the snipping tool. You saw me click it down here, click New, do a screenshot, just like that, and submit that screenshot, which will look like this, except for the screen share option, which I'm doing right now, and submit this for your week 2 assignment. That takes care of that. And I appreciate your time, and you have a blessed day.